Hello, everyone. Welcome back to I See Bad Movies for Season 5, Episode 4. As ever, I am one of your hosts, Dave Keane, and I'm joined, as ever... Oh, what am I saying? I'm joined
so well.
by the efficient, eclectic Emma Spicer.
Hello. Are we back to the E's?
Well, I decided to go with E's again
Okay.
because it was easy.
Easy.
Oh, God. Should I just give up on the intro? Should I just let you do
Just
the
don't
intro?
have intro.
Yeah, no intro. Hi, everyone.
Anyway.
This is the movie we're doing. Let's just get on with it. Actually, that might be quite good for the listeners.
Yeah. They might appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh. This is the one time I'd ask you not to tell us on social media when you agree with us. Okay. Emma,
Yes.
tonight we're watching a movie that started this whole season of Body Parts Gone Wrong.
Yes.
When one night I'm sitting there in my own house minding my own business and I get a
As you always
photograph, as I always am, I get a photograph sent to me that shocked me to the core.
Did it though?
Well, probably
This when
not.
this was when I was up late trying to start a film at about 10:30 or some crazy hour.
Yeah, who starts a film at gone 10 o'clock at night? Eh?
And I found this little beauty. Well,
Choose your words very carefully. Emma, would you like to tell the people,
the
the
people.
movie that we're watching tonight?
Well, I don't know. I will tell them, but I'm not
Thanks.
particularly looking forward to watching it, if I'm honest.
Well, the one good thing is,
So-
the movie is only an hour and 3 minutes long.
Yeah, that's the only saving grace, isn't it? Yeah. So the movie is called The Scrotum. You did hear that, right?
Yes.
And this popped up on Amazon, I think. Amazon, was
Yeah,
it?
it was, yeah.
And when I was looking for a decent movie to watch one night, and this popped up, and it instantly made me think of Teeth. And I thought, hold on a minute, we can make a whole season out of this.
Yeah. And as soon as you messaged me that, I was like,
Idle Hands.
yep, there's Idle Hands, and I mentioned there's
Body
there's a
Parts.
movie called
Yeah.
Body Parts. This is really perfect for a season
Yeah.
about body parts.
Yeah.
So we're currently at 4 movies about body parts.
Now we're sort of clutching the straws.
We not well. Are we though? Because
Well, let's watch the movie and
what
see.
did you find out just before we started recording?
Well, so I had a quick look earlier online to see if I could find the synopsis of Scrotum, because I've not actually watched a trailer or looked at the synopsis. I just saw that it was about Scrotum and instantly messaged David. And yeah, by the way, when I searched it up, I searched for Scrotum synopsis, and I just got a description of what a scrotum is on Google. So I was like, oh, hang on, I need to put the word movie in there because...
With
I'm
some
just looking
very
up Scrotum
very
otherwise.
handy diagrams. Ugh.
And there is actually a sequel,
Yes.
and it's called Scrotum, the second one. So if this is any good and we do a sequels at any point, this will have to be in there.
Yes. I think even if this isn't any good, I think there has to be the sequel in the season of sequels.
Yeah.
Just because I'm hoping that every season so far we've had a sequel.
Yeah.
I think.
And the only reason, let's be honest with
Yeah.
listeners, the only reason we want to do a sequels season is so that we can watch Crank 2.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
was the only
And
reason.
if you haven't watched Crank 2, to share the joy of Crank 2
That
with you.
haven't lived.
Yeah. That was a book on lots of adults' coffee tables in the 80s. The joy of Crank 2. If anyone gets that reference, you're welcome. All right, so would you like to know the synopsis of The Scrotum?
I'd love to.
Well,
Was that a sentence you ever thought you would say?
No, I don't. But the scrotum is a sack of skin near the man's perineum. No, wait. Sorry, no, I've got the wrong synopsis of what scrotum
Such a
is.
horrible word, isn't it?
It's
It's really grim.
I know. We keep saying it as well, and I can only imagine
I
people
know.
listening just cringing as we say it every time. So here's the synopsis. It is a horror movie, by the way. A weekend getaway turns to terror after a bizarre shaving incident releases a bloodthirsty monster upon a peaceful lakeside community. I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but I
We want
think...
it to be bad, don't we?
Yeah.
Bad
No,
movies.
no, but you know, it sounds. Have you ever seen the movie Lake Placid?
I think so, but
with
a
the
while
giant
ago.
alligator.
Yeah, but a long time ago. I can't really remember it.
It's so good. I love it.
I have seen it, but I can't
So if it's anything like that, great. I'm a happy man.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to flip the coin and we're going to find out if we're going to be talking about the good or the bad. Okay. What do you reckon?
Bad. We did good last time.
We
didn't
did. Oh, we're on the bad.
We were on the bad.
That was a good guess. You got it right. And it's my turn to pick the categories, isn't it? Okay.
And we don't know. We've not seen this one before, have we?
No.
So we don't
So
know
we
anything
are.
about it.
We've got no idea if any of these
Going
categories will be
blind.
good. Okay, the first one, accent.
Oh, okay. Not
This-
sure.
Well, you never know. Maybe the scrotum talks. Oh,
I hope
special effects.
that could be a good.
That could be a good one. I'm hoping actually, thinking of accents, if the scrotum talks, I hope it actually goes around like that. Location.
Your impression of scrotum.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I've not got much to go on.
Well, you've got more time
Stunts.
than I have. I think the fact I haven't got one.
I'm sorry, can we pause? You've just broken me.
It was only a matter of time.
Oh dear. Right.
Okay, just keep going for the left.
All right. Well, you know, I'm a socialist. Oh, death.
Oh, okay, that could be a good one.
Okay, that could be a good one. Well, we never know. We might end up with wild card is the
Yeah,
word I'm
we
looking
might
for. Okay, so death, stunts, location, special effects, and accent of scrotum. The
It
scrotum.
might be an accent of a person, not the actual scrotum.
It could well be. I mean, you know, down at a peaceful lakeside, all sorts of people coming together on a holiday.
Yeah.
You could end up with all sorts of
I
different
wonder
people
if
there.
this lakeside is the same lakeside as the one on Teeth, and they'll find the penis in the cave, and the scrotum and the penis could join together.
Joined together. Creating a weapon of mass scrotum. No,
Yeah.
maybe not. Right, Emma, should we go and watch this?
Oh, if we have to.
Let's do it. Welcome back, Emma.
Wow. I think I'm traumatised.
I know, but do you know what is also amazing?
Yes, I do know what's amazing. I know what you're going to say.
This has never happened before in the history of our podcast. That in the middle of recording an episode,
Yeah.
in between watching the movie and recording the actual discussion about the movie itself,
Yes.
we have had a Patreon sign up.
I know.
So it's only fair to give them the shout out at this
Yeah.
point in time. How amazing
Just
is
after
that?
it's happened, yeah.
Just like, boom. I've never had that before. It was so crazy. Anyway, welcome Jay Kyles.
Yes, welcome.
I know, so thank you so much for
What
signing up.
movie to join us on?
I know. Your Patreon subscription has paid for the scrotum.
Yes.
So that's absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Welcome along. Enjoy the Flipside episodes.
Yes, of which there are many.
There are many now. Well, yeah, there's what this is season 4, episode 4. Season 5, episode 4, sorry. So there are 27 episodes of the Flipside.
Yeah.
And the Scrotum episode will be episode 28. How amazing is that? Really amazing. And you know what? We've also done over 2,000 downloads.
Yes, we have, haven't we, recently?
Yeah,
That's really
very
good
recently.
as well.
We just beat 2,000 downloads.
Hold on, I just got to stop us there because
Go on.
we're sounding a bit like Taylor Swift. Did you see Taylor Swift at the Grammys?
Oh, yeah.
This is my 13th Grammy, and I've got a new album, like talking to the crowd of her rivals, like they're her fans.
Yes, I know.
And just basically standing up there and bragging that we're getting a bit Taylor Swifty here.
She also, like, Lana Del Rey was up for the same award.
Yes.
And she dragged
She
Lana
dragged
Del
her
Rey up
there
on,
with her and
on
like,
stage.
rubbed her nose in it.
Like, and then
She did
I
so
heard
bad. And then she snubbed Celine Dion like she was nothing. And I'm like,
Celine Dion is royalty.
you're up there with
Taylor.
a legend,
Yeah.
and you like completely dismissed her. And then later on, I think her PR people have been like, you better make this good with Celine Dion because this looks really bad on you.
Oh,
and
yeah,
there's
apparently she's
picture
doing
of her,
Yeah.
like, and Taylor Swift is really over the top, like smiling like they're besties, and Celine Dion's a bit like, okay, I don't really know you, but
Celine Dion doesn't need
she doesn't
Taylor
need
Swift.
Taylor Swift. She doesn't give a shit about Taylor Swift. But yeah, I was watching a few videos online earlier, and I was like, whoa, this really comes across badly.
I saw a lot of like reactions. There were like
all the faces.
there were
of
people.
everyone.
Yeah, there were people watching the
Just like,
like
what
reacting
the
to
hell
it,
is going on?
and like the caption for one of them was like everybody realizing the moment that Taylor Swift, or the moment everyone realized what Taylor Swift was like.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I've never seen somebody accept an award in quite such an arrogant way.
Yeah.
Basically, just stand up there bragging about how good you are. Like, normally they're a bit gracious, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
everyone's a bit gracious. Like, oh, like,
Where was Kanye West
expecting
when you
this
needed
and-
to stop it?
No.
Taylor, I'm gonna let you finish, but first of all,
Yeah.
bring it down a notch.
Yeah.
This is difficult.
Anyway, we were getting a bit Taylor Swifty there with our 2,000 downloads and our new subscriber.
I know, but I think we can be proud of 2,000 downloads and a
We
new
can be
subscriber.
proud.
Absolutely.
Quietly.
Yeah, but yeah, these are no. There are times when two hardworking parents of children
Yeah.
doing a hobby have things happen, like our podcast getting 2,000 odd downloads over 27 episodes or whatever,
Yeah.
and some people signing up to help us support and help us run the podcast and replace things as they break, looking at our mics, which the displays are going a bit funky on.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the
Renting the movies.
renting the movies
And occasionally
the tea
Black
bill
Forest Gatto.
and the occasional Black Forest. Well, did you have the Black Forest Gatto?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Good. I
Yeah, I
couldn't
did.
believe I sat here eating a Black Forest Gatto and you were savouring yours for the next day.
I know, I did eat it though. Obviously I ate it.
Obviously.
It wasn't going to go to waste.
Obviously, quite right. Yeah, I think we're allowed to be proud of that.
Okay.
But when you're billionaire Taylor Swift and you're like,
I think to say
bring
this,
it down a notch.
This is my 13th Grammy, like, get over yourself.
Yeah,
love.
I know. Okay, well done.
No one's counting apart from you.
Yeah. How old are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you might have done so much more
And then
by the time you're age.
new album and stuff, it's like, you're in a room full of your peers, you're not in a room full of your fans. She was talking to them like they were her fans.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you'll probably be really excited that I've got this album coming out. And it's like, say that on social media or at a concert or something where there's a room full of fans.
Yeah.
But these are your peers and your rivals, and you're like, they don't give a shit if you've got an album coming out.
I mean, could you imagine like the camera
They're not
panning to
buying your
Celine
album.
Dion and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be the first in queue."
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah. Anyway, the Scrotum.
Oh, this movie.
Might we
made
add
me
that
do.
this is an episode about the Scrotum, and us going off about Taylor Swift is not us equating Taylor
we're
Swift to
not.
being a scrotum.
I can't even be mad at you for this one because I found it.
Wait,
So,
why are you ever mad at me? You like bad movies.
anyway, I found this one. So I'm like, no, but I was watching it thinking, what is this? What my life's come to? Like, what the hell is this? And then realising that actually I found this. This was my idea.
Yeah, this is all your
It's the
fault.
worst idea I've ever had.
It really was.
I mean, I don't even know how we're going to do this podcast because I don't know how I'm going to begin to explain what this movie is. I was just sat there the whole time going, what are we watching?
Yeah.
What is this?
And I think it was because with a movie title like The Scrotum, you're expecting like some form of humour, whether it be gross out
Yes.
humour or something like that.
You did point that out, didn't you?
But there wasn't. They played it pretty seriously.
And you can't have a movie about a killer scrotum and play it seriously.
No,
It just doesn't work.
it doesn't.
Also, I've got some issues with the scrotum itself, but we'll get into that. It's not
Yeah.
how you expect it.
Mm-hmm.
But as we go through our categories, we'll get into how they sort of showed the scrotum. 'Cause
Yeah.
it wasn't what we were expecting at all. I don't know about you, but I was not expecting what we saw
No,
in any way, shape or form.
absolutely not.
So that threw me as well, I think, because I was like, what is going on?
Well,
Like, the whole movie, I was just like, what is going on? And then there was also a part where we were only about halfway through, weren't we?
yes.
And we thought that the scrotum was done for. It was killed. It was
Yeah.
done in. And we were like, what's going to happen now then? We're like halfway through a movie.
Yeah.
It's a very short movie, isn't it? It's only about
It is
an hour.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, how can that be the end? Because we're like half an hour in. And then it obviously wasn't the end and more stuff happened. But I just felt confused the whole way through. Like, not confused, I knew what was going on,
Yeah.
but it was like, why has somebody made this movie? Why does any of this exist? And we've watched some terrible movies.
I feel like you're lining this up to be like, I've just realised, why are we watching bad movies? And
No,
this is the end of the podcast.
Because like you've just said, a lot of the time there's humour in there.
Yeah.
When we've had a great time watching some of these movies, we've laughed like all the way through some of them. So they can absolutely be funny.
Absolutely.
And even if they're just so badly done, they're funny.
Yes.
This one wasn't. We didn't laugh once, I don't think, did we? Did we laugh once?
I think if we did, it was not at an intentional moment. It was just at the ludicrousness of what was happening. Like the barn scene.
Yeah.
With the slow motion.
Yeah.
In the opera, which we'll talk about. We'll go through the synopsis of what happened and we'll break it down. But I think, thinking about them not having a laugh and taking it seriously, I don't know if that's quite right. Because Leslie Nielsen's character in Airplane, where he's so deadpan.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying the most ridiculous things, but he's playing it serious, and it works so well. It's almost like they've decided that everything in this movie should be deadpan, and thinking that will create the humour.
You can't have everybody deadpan.
You can't have, and even though it's a ridiculous situation, there are non-ridiculous things happening. For the sense of that sort of deadpan not to work anyway. It's a real jumble.
Yeah. There's some weird little touches in there as well.
Yes.
We'll obviously go through, but I don't know. I just the whole way through I was just like, what are we watching?
Yeah, what are we watching? Well, let's tell people what we watched. Let's go through it. Let's go through the synopsis. So the movie opens up with two guys in white hazmat suits in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Okay. Pull up in a van and get a big barrel of toxic waste out of the van.
Yeah.
Walk it across a bridge out in the open.
Yeah, like you say, daylight. No one's around though, are they?
No one's around, but
area,
there could be anyone watching this happen and reporting them and going, "Oh, there's two people dumping toxic waste."
And that's exactly how somebody would sound that would be reporting people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Kind of
Hello, my name's Karen. There are two people dumping toxic waste. I'm very worried about the local gentleman's scrotums.
I don't think that would be her first worry, but
You don't know. You just don't know. Now, they dump this toxic waste in the water. It's all bubbly, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. We then come across, I don't know if that was an unintentional pun there.
Don't say things like that in a
maybe about the scrotum. We are then introduced to a young couple hiking through the woods.
Oh, were they not in the car when we first?
Oh, yeah, sorry, they're in the car. They're in the car driving towards the woods. And
they're going camping, aren't they?
Yeah, he's having a go at her about being on her phone, so she...
That was... Yeah, so this is what I mean about weird little touches. So she's on her phone texting when they're in the car, and he's having a bit of a go. She throws her phone in the back seat, and then we get a shot of the phone as if that's telling you... Like in movies, they normally give you a little clue or a little hint to something.
Yes.
Right, that's important. Remember that. Like that's the mobile phone there. Yeah. Remember that was there. Or you would flash up with something on the screen and you'd see the text message or something. It was just a locked phone on a back seat. And it was like, it lingered there far too long.
And had like dramatic music over it as well.
And then they had like a few little shots where they lingered on something. Like at one point they come around a corner in the car.
Yes.
And the camera just stays there on the road.
Oh, the car's long gone as well.
A few seconds, and the car's gone, and you're like, what's the relevance of this shot? And then the hazardous waste truck comes past, and you just see like the dented in bottom of the side of it, and it's like, what was the point of that shot?
It's just such weird shots.
Loads of, like in the beginning, there was loads of those little shots where you're like, are you just killing time? Because none of this is relevant.
You just, like, are you having to put this over a certain time so that when you put it up for like release on Amazon, you can charge rent for it? If it's too short a film, you can't charge rent or something. I don't know.
It was literally like little fillers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like we're just stretching this movie out.
Yeah, and keeping stretching it. There were loads of things like that, and I would quite possibly say that there were many issues with the editing that we're definitely going to get into as we go later. And geez Louise, that The only thing I can think of is the focus on this phone in the back seat is because now she doesn't have her phone to contact help. But that's the only reason for it.
Yeah, it must be.
But that's just implied by her putting the phone away, you know? I mean, would you even put your phone away, just leave it in the car anyway? Yep, okay, fine, I'm turning it off and I'm putting it in my pocket.
I'll turn it off, but I wouldn't throw it in the back seat.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, in this modern day, who's going to leave their phone in the car?
This movie was set though, because they had that like weird radio thing that looks like something out of the 80s, didn't they?
Oh yeah, that's true. But then also that's if they're going camping, it's battery powered and it will last, won't it?
I guess
that's the only thing I can think of. So so then we join them. That happened. The phone's dumped in the back seat. Yeah. We join them walking through the woods. We don't know if they're a married couple or boy. I think they're boyfriend girlfriend, aren't they? Because I think she says you killed my boyfriend. Oh, spoiler.
No, yeah, she does say.
Yeah, I think
she does call him boyfriend later on. Yeah.
So they're walking through the woods.
We don't know their names though, do we? They don't.
Well, I think his name is Tyler. His name is Tyler. I've got no clue what her name was.
Their names aren't mentioned in the movie, are they? So normally, even if it is just to let the audience know what names are, they say character names. I can only think that his name is Tyler because I'm pretty sure I heard her like in an annoyed way say his name. Yeah. Oh, Tyler. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But I might be wrong. Okay.
I might be wrong. I could check up on IMDb, but there are no photographs for any of the cast, so I couldn't put a face to a name as well, which makes it really difficult. But so they're walking through the woods, and he starts telling her a ghost story about a dead boy's body dumped in the lake, etc., just trying to freak her out. And again, I'd understand if we were getting some sort of ghost story or something, because that's obviously going nowhere anyway, because it's not a ghost story, it's a scrot story. So it's just not happening. Yeah. So why build up like a ghost story? Oh, there was a dead body, the body of a boy left in the woods, and the ghost haunts the place, or whatever the story was. It just anyway. They get to the campsite. They don't even really set up, do they? The tent isn't even set up.
The tent's not set up or anything. They've got like their radio out,
a
few bits and pieces, but no, they're not set up camp, have they?
And they're lying there, and they're having a wee bit of a smooch.
They're literally just kissing.
Yeah.
And then, is this when we see the pervert in the woods?
No, not
Is that later?
yet. Not yet. It's in the next few moments we see the pervert in the woods.
Oh right, so they're kissing, and then she starts kissing down his chest with his shirt on, isn't she? And then she obviously gets down a bit lower, and then she's like, "Oh, it's really hairy down here." Well, I can't remember what she exactly says, but basically, it's like, "Could you not at least shaved?" And then I think she says something like, "I don't want to get hairs in my teeth and all that."
Oh yeah, I don't want cock hairs in my mouth. That is the exact phrase.
Really romantic.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh come on, can't you just finish me off?" And I'm like, "Finish him off? You've literally just kissed, and then that's it. Like, what kind of sex is this?" Like,
very quick sex, apparently.
You're just literally kissing, and then you need to finish him off. Like, when did you start him off? So she's like moaning about him being hairy down there, and basically saying, "I'm not going to do this unless," or saying you could have had a shave before we got here, kind of thing.
Yeah. But he does have the bright idea of going in his bags, and he pulls out an electric shaver with a plug.
Why did you take that on a camping trip?
Yeah, exactly. Why? I was about to say exactly the same thing. Why is that on a camping trip?
I mean, if you go to an actual campsite, you can get electric weights, can't you?
Yeah.
But they're in the woods. They're not in a campsite, which is run by somebody with toilets and electricity and a restaurant, and like they're literally in the woods, so they're not going to have any electricity.
And I'll tell you now, right? And if there's any men listening to this podcast episode, guaranteed you'll have had like adverts before a YouTube video for Manscaped all the time, okay? And if anything, the adverts for Manscaped have taught me that you don't use those hair trimmers down below, because that's when pain happens. Yeah. That's when pain happens. So, yeah, he rightly decides, oh, I can't use this. Yeah. Then he goes in his bag, and the only other option is a cutthroat razor.
Well, what did you call it, David?
I'm really quite proud of this.
I know you are.
I'm really quite proud of this. I renamed it the Cut Scrot razor.
Yes.
I'm so proud of it.
It was quite good.
Thank you.
Give you that.
Thank you. You weren't expecting a good joke from me
No,
that at all.
I never am.
Oh, ouch. So he goes off into the lake
Yeah.
and
Yeah, this was the thing as well. So
go on. Yeah.
they're getting, well, I don't know if you can call it romantic, but they're obviously getting it on, and she's gone, oh, it's hairy, and then right there and then, I mean, way to kill the mood. Right there and then, you just get up and go down to the lake, trousers down, start shaving your scrotum,
Yeah.
and also,
I don't know what's worse,
Why is
dumping
the
toxic
focus-
waste in the open broad daylight, or shaving your bits
yeah, and
in
also, why
broad
is
daylight.
the focus on the scrotum? Is the focus not on the hair around, like above the penis more?
Yeah, I would say
That's
so.
what she was going to do.
Yeah, I would say so.
He's just full on. He's just got down to the lake and got his scrotum out. Not anything else.
Oh,
Don't see anything else.
and I mean, we see it all. I mean, it's all covered in like foamy, shaving foam, foamy shaving foam. But there's flesh. You see hair. You see
Yeah, I mean,
it's obviously
like,
fake. Yeah,
fake, but it looks terrible.
yeah.
Like it's not. I mean, not that they look good anyway, but it's like it's a terrible. We'll talk about that because it's like we're kind of counting that as special effects, aren't we? Things like that.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah.
So yeah, we do see everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only just thought that. Why is he concentrating so much on shaving his balls?
Yeah.
Surely she'd be more concerned about the hair elsewhere, wouldn't she? She wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
the scrotum's really hairy.
Yeah, your scrotum's really hairy, but
Yeah. Anyway, so he's.
Anyway, I
using
think
the
we're getting.
cut
I think we're
scrote
getting.
razor.
We're creating too much of like a mental image in my head here. We
Yeah.
need to stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you watched it?
I know, but I want to. I want to
No
forget it.
flashbacks.
Yeah. Oh God, it's like PTSD dog image.
Yes, he nicks himself with the razor, doesn't
He
he?
does. I was assuming it was like going to be an accident where the whole thing's cut off.
Me too, exactly that.
But
it wasn't.
But as he's shaving, he keeps rinsing the blade off in the water.
Yeah. And
But
obviously that's
it's the toxic water, so it's all bubbly around him, and I don't think he realises. He
Yeah.
keeps washing it off. But yeah, you're right. He nicks himself, and then he's like, oh, he's. But the thing is, he's
And they're
really
not-
bleeding.
They're not shy of a bit of fake blood in this movie.
No, they're not.
We see a lot of fake blood.
Yeah.
It's very gory, really, in that respect. So yeah, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I've cut myself,"
Yeah.
and you just see blood everywhere. I can't remember what her reaction was to. Was she just kind of like, "Oh, you're an idiot," or was she concerned? Or I can't remember how she reacted to him.
No, he
Kind of
doesn't. Nothing happens about it. He just
Oh,
goes
okay.
back, and he goes and lies down with her, and then a while later, while he's shaving, we do cut
Oh, yes,
to
we
she's
see-
sleeping on the little blanket laid out, and
Yeah.
we see like a local, gonna make you squeal like a pig, boy.
Yeah.
Hillbilly.
Yeah, you've got to put
Just
him out.
yeah.
He is so
Watching
well
her.
cast.
Yeah, he is perfectly
He
cast.
looks like a disgusting pervert.
Yeah,
Sorry to the actor that played him, but
he do it very
he's doing
well.
a weird thing with his tongue. Like,
Oh, yeah,
like licking his
he's all
lips
dribbly
stuff,
and-
it's like, and he's making weird noises.
Yeah.
But he's just he's in dungarees, isn't he, as well?
Yes.
He's just really well cast for the
Yeah.
part. He just looks like a pervert.
He does it really
And
well.
I think the only point of him, so he's like pleasuring himself in the woods while he's looking at her. She's only laying there. He's not doing anything
Yeah.
sexual. He's doing that, and I think the only reason for him is just because it's another person for the scrotum to get
Yes, it
later
is.
on, isn't it? It's
Yeah, it
literally
is.
he's just like a character
Yeah,
that can be
he's
killed.
just another person to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cut to him, and he's having a fun time in the woods. And then is it when we cut back to them?
Yeah, Tyler comes back, lies down. A while passes, and then Tyler starts complaining of some pain.
Oh, has he got like stomach pain? And
Yeah,
stuff?
he's like,
Yeah.
oh, something really wrong with my stomach, and I think it's like the pain is all stemming from his scrotum.
Yeah.
But the pain is so bad that he takes the cut scrot razor
Yeah.
and basically just eunuchs himself.
Yeah.
Takes all the balls off
Yeah.
completely. Which, yeah. And this is the thing I thought. The movie's called The Scrotum,
Yeah.
right? But it's the balls that are going round.
So I just assumed
Yeah.
the whole yeah, the whole like scrotum would be cut off
Aye.
and it's intact, as in a scrotum with 2 testes in it, and
Yeah.
it's like bouncing around.
Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.
I mean, that's not a scary. It's not. It wouldn't be a scary image, would it? Like
No, it wouldn't be.
Little ball sack just following you around. You'd be like, "What the fuck?" But you wouldn't be scared.
No, you wouldn't. No.
And also, you could just probably just stamp on it and be like, "That's that
Yeah.
one then." So, but it wasn't, was it? So then we just see lying on the ground. We don't actually see the scrotum, do we?
No, we don't. We
just
see the testes.
Testes and like some
And
sort of vein or tube.
yeah, it's
or
the tube.
artery
The
or
vas
whatever.
deferens is what it's
Yes.
called.
Like
Yeah.
just laying on the ground.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, so this is just literally the sack. This is just.
Yeah, I thought it would just be the sack running around, like strangling people, like suffocating them or something.
Yeah.
But no. Later in the film, we find out.
Yeah, later on.
Later
so
on.
at this point in time, we're thinking, okay, just the scrotal sac is.
Yeah.
Is that the right term? Is the.
Well, I think the scrotum is just the sack.
the sac.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the scrotum is
Yeah.
just as the sac without the contents
Yeah.
is not running around but moving around, killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, later on we find out that actually, I don't know, that's not the case. There's something else attached to it, isn't there?
Well, yeah, because there's like it's got these like
Some sort of
ropes that come out
yeah.
from it. But that's what I was thinking. Well, if it's just the skin of the scrotum, how has it got these like prehensile sort of veins that come out from it, or veins that come out from it, or whatever these tubes were that were grabbing people? But it's because it turns out that it's actually. It actually turns out it's one of the balls.
Oh, okay.
It's only one of the balls doing the killing.
That's why the second film is called.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Because look, we'll leave that thought there.
Yeah.
Because as we talk about the rest of
Come
the
back to
film, this will start to make more sense as to why.
Yeah.
So
we don't see. But
the
we don't
boyfriend
see
dies.
The scrotum, do we?
No, we don't see the
So
scrotum.
we see scrotum vision though.
Yes, we do. The girlfriend gets chased by the scrotum.
Yeah.
And she's running away, but we see a low-down camera shot with like a red
It's
sort
very
of
low
film.
to the ground.
Yeah, red film over the eye, like over the camera, and it's all red vision for the
So
scrotum.
at this point, I'm still imagining this little, like, ball bag running along the ground.
Yeah,
But it's not, because we know that the testes are on the ground, and also when we see it later on, although when it's scrotum vision,
yeah. Don't get too hung up on it now, because when we get to the barn fight,
yeah,
it will make sense of what's happened.
yeah,
Kind of. It's actually it's just
yeah.
after the fight in the barn
yeah,
that will make sense of what's going on here. Let's just for now assume that there's a scrotum chasing people down and killing people. Okay.
yeah.
That's all we have to consider at this point in time. Now,
So boyfriend's dead.
girlfriend runs away. We're then introduced to a couple of other characters that are in the
pervert
woods.
not get killed?
The pervert gets
Straight
killed,
away.
but at the same time, we hear the girlfriend screaming for help, and a guy in the woods with an axe hears and goes running towards. We then also cut to a fella in a bathroom,
Yeah,
just reading a magazine or whatever he's doing in the bathroom, and some of the worst bathroom scene I think I've ever
yeah,
seen in my life, and this is before a murder happens in there.
yeah.
He gets killed by in that one scene. He gets killed by the scrotum. Then it cuts to the hillbilly guy fishing, and he gets attacked by the scrotum and dies. That's when we then go back to the guy who was running around with the axe
Yeah.
to trying to find this scrotum. They're not trying
Why
to
was he
find
just
the
running around the
source.
woods with an axe?
He's trying to find the source of the screaming, and he doesn't find it. But what he then comes across,
What he then finds.
what he then finds, is the scrotum on the floor that starts chasing him, and he runs and runs and runs and runs for ages,
Yeah,
right? And then gets a bit tired, stops and hides behind a tree.
yeah,
Instantly, this is the first time we see the scrotum. It's like a great big sheet of skin
Yes, it's
that
just
wraps around his
huge.
face and the tree.
Is it huge because it's been in the toxic waste?
I'm thinking it's grown.
But later on, it's not huge. Or is that because she
It's
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's because of what she does to it.
Yeah.
It's because of what she does to it.
Yeah, so it's like monster scrotum.
Yeah.
But this, when it's on the ground and it's, we don't see how it moves, do we? We just get scrotum vision when it's moving around. So we don't actually see it move.
That's
it's
right.
very low down to the ground, but then I guess it would be if it's just a sheet of skin, wouldn't it? It wouldn't have any height to it.
Yeah.
It's quite big when it's like over this guy's face, but I guess it would still be quite low to the ground if it was.
Yeah, it would be.
But I want to see how it moved around because maybe it had those long tentacle type things.
Oh, and it was like running on tentacles. Oh, yeah. That would be good.
They should have shown
but we never saw that,
No.
so we have to we can imagine that.
Yeah.
But that's how it did it. You know, I would have liked the idea of like bouncing around like two space hoppers.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I was just like boing, da-doing, da-doing, da-doing. Like that would have been an easy way to get around.
It would have been, yeah.
Just like jumping. But yeah, we don't see, that was disappointing because I would like to have seen it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have liked to have seen it moving around, but in this movie.
But you want to see,
you want to see how they're imagining it. Like, whoever's written this movie, what are you thinking?
You're
when
hoping.
You're doing the script? Like, how is it moving in your
You're
head?
hoping that it's got kind of like a little bit of character, like Robert the Tire or the sofa in Killer Sofa, you know? But no. The only sort of characterisation we get is when you've got scrotum vision.
Also, I did point out that how does it see?
Yeah.
Because it's a scrotum.
It doesn't have eyes.
I did come up with the idea of putting testes on the top.
Like
little eyeballs, and that would be quite funny.
Yeah.
And also later on, she makes a sound to get his attention. And I was like, so it can hear
how
as
does
well.
it hear?
It can hear and it can see. It's a scrotum. It's a piece of skin.
It doesn't have the capabilities.
Yeah. I mean, although we have watched movies like Killer Sofa and Rubber that, they
true.
were very switched on and they were inanimate objects, so they're not even alive. So this thing is just on the loose, just going on a killing spree, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not stopping at anything.
And then is that when we cut to the girlfriend finds the house?
No.
Oh,
first of all, when the fella dies, we then there might be an odd little scene with the girlfriend running or whatever, but then we're introduced to a young girl called Emily running through the woods, searching for her dog.
Yeah.
The dog then we see the dog running around through the woods and is then attacked by the scrotum.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid, yes, the dog does die in this movie, which is horrible, I suppose. And then you think, oh God. And then you think, is it going to get the little girl as well?
Yeah,
but
we don't see, do we? We don't know if it got the girl or not.
Well, the little girl then finds the dog as well.
Yeah.
And then that's the last we see the little girl for now.
But then doesn't she... Oh, I thought we saw her, we saw scrotum vision on the girl, didn't we?
Oh, we did see scrotum vision on the girl.
So we didn't know when we left that scene. We weren't sure if the scrotum got her or not.
Yes,
and
that's right.
I thought possibly they haven't shown the girl's death because she's a child.
Because she's a child, yeah.
And this is a film about scrotum, so a child in it anyway.
Yeah.
Because how do you tell that child what movie they're in?
That's the thing I imagine.
There's a child in a movie like this, you've got to say, okay, do you want to be in this movie? And what was she? 8 or 9? Maybe a bit younger?
Maybe about
7?
No, I think she looked a bit older than that.
Oh, you think she was older?
I'd say about 10, maybe.
Okay,
10, the eldest.
Yeah, so she's say 10. How do you explain to a 10-year-old what this movie is? Killer Scrotum.
I don't think you do. I don't think you tell a child the type of movie they're in, because they're not going to be able to see it. First of all, and none of the friends are going to see it. Yeah. But you'd have to tell the parents that your child's going to be in this movie. We're paying you for your child to be in this movie.
But then imagine being
paying
a child.
for your child.
You'd want to be like, I'm in a movie.
Yeah,
I tell people that, and then you can't because you're like.
Maybe it was just so cheap a movie that there was just a family friend in it.
Yeah, maybe.
And they exploited their godchild.
Yeah.
Get in this film. Oh, Uncle Jeff, I don't want to. Get in the film. You want a Christmas present this year? You'll get in this bloody film and act. Maybe that's what happened.
So we cut.
So very exploitative.
We cut from her to the girlfriend finding the house.
Yes, yeah. Girlfriend runs around. She finds
this big white house.
Really nice house.
In the middle of nowhere.
I'd live there.
Yeah.
You know, apart from the dead people inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The girlfriend banging on the door, asking for the phone. I need your phone. My boyfriend's been attacked. Yeah, all those things. She goes to the window, looks in, and we see someone sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
But then it pans away, and it pans into the room, and we see the woman's on the chair, and she's just completely disemboweled.
Yeah.
And we have to imagine it was the scrotum that disemboweled her.
Apparently so.
When it hadn't disemboweled anyone else before.
This scrotum. What was the other movie that we had this in? The deaths are so inconsistent. So there's so many different ways that it kills people.
Yeah.
Was it Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? It was the same. There was one movie we watched where it was like. So some people died. No, it was Birdemic.
Birdemic. Some people got slashed.
Acid.
Some people got acid.
Some people got clawed to death.
Yeah.
It was like,
some people got blown up by the birds.
Choose how these birds are going to do this, and then
stick with it.
But like this, so you've got to imagine this is a piece of skin with a few, I don't know what they are, tubes, veins, I don't know, connective tissue, whatever.
I mean, technically they're tubes because there's only 2 tubes that come off the testes.
Yeah.
One each.
So
and that's it.
It's got these. They're like massive because it's all like a big giant scrotum. Yeah. So it's this giant piece of skin with 2 tubes coming off of it.
Yep.
How it's doing some of these deaths, I don't know. That doesn't get explained.
The hillbilly, I think the guy with the axe that goes running through the woods comes across the body of the hillbilly, and he's all kind of like half melted.
Yeah, he's like,
help me.
Looks somewhere between melted and burnt.
Yeah.
So we don't see the deaths. We see the aftermath. We don't see the deaths apart from. Well, we don't even really see his death.
Some people are just strangled. Yeah, the guy that gets suffocated by it.
We don't really.
It's like his head is completely just melted away. His body's still there, but the top half is gone. Yeah, the dog's all kind of melted. Yeah.
But then later on, we'll talk about deaths anyway because that was one of our categories.
Yeah.
But there's later on there's a scene with a copper as well that's pathetic.
Just cuddled to death.
Yeah. So she's found the house. There's a woman. I don't think, does she see it through the window or do we just see it?
I think she sees it through the window and she kind of loses all hope. She kind of collapses into a heap and we have like a montage flashback of her relationship with her boyfriend and how lovely it was and blah, blah, blah. And she's just completely distraught. And then she just kind of wakes up a while later and decides, that's it. I'm going to fight back. She goes to the barn, and then the next thing we see is her putting her hair up into a ponytail, and she's clearly never done it before because it takes so long. There are so many shots.
So many shots of her trying to put her hair up.
And it's all the same kind of shot where, like, I don't have long hair, but, you gather it up and you put it back on one side, you gather it up and put it back on the other side.
Yeah.
And then it cuts away to something. I can't remember what. I think is it the scrotum watching or something? I can't remember what it cuts away to.
Actually.
But it cuts away to something. I honestly can't remember what it does. But and then it's the exact same shot of her.
Hold on, this is
putting her hair back.
To the diner, isn't it? This is not.
Oh, that's in the diner. No, yes, good point. No, she just picks up her. It is.
She does this in the barn.
In the barn, she just goes and gets a bloody chainsaw. That's right.
She gets a chainsaw, but then she does somehow. I don't know, because she somehow does something to it, and she thinks it's done.
It jumps down at her from in the barn, and she slashes and slashes and slashes away at it.
And then it goes on the ground, and she stamps on it.
Yeah, not quite. No, because she's covered in blood from slashing away at it.
Yeah.
And she throws the chainsaw down, thinking it's defeated, and she goes walking away in the true sort of last girl sort of fashion, leaving it behind her. But it's not dead yet. We then get a slow motion action scene of the tubes from the scrotum or testicle, whatever it is at this point, grabbing her and pulling her back.
Oh, yes.
And we get this like opera score over this slow motion scene.
Yeah, but we don't get. I couldn't think of a movie where they do it really well, but there are movies where they have like some kind of dramatic scene, and you don't hear any of the actual sound of the scene.
Yeah.
You just have this really powerful music playing.
Yes.
I couldn't think of a movie but it can work really well. But this was the wrong music.
It really was,
They
wasn't it?
used the wrong music. It wasn't. It was more. It was the song was too upbeat. Not upbeat because it was opera, but like it. I don't know. It wasn't serious enough for the scene that it was over the top of. But she does something to it that makes it shrink.
Well, yes.
When we see it on the ground, it's small.
Because she's too far away to grab hold of the chainsaw, but as she's being dragged back, she notices a fire extinguisher.
Oh, she does use a
and
fire
it's one of the
extinguisher.
powder fire extinguishers.
Yes.
And she grabs that and she starts.
Freezes it.
Well, the thing is, it's the CO2 that freezes, not the powder, and so it must be a chemical in the powder that counter. This is what one of the scientists later in the film say.
Oh, okay.
So she sprays it with the powder, and whatever it is in the powder for the fire extinguisher makes it shrink.
Yeah.
And that's when she stamps on it and destroys it.
Yeah.
And that's when we see it, and it's like a deformed testicle, and it's like, oh, it's not a scrotum at all. It's kind of a scrotum and a testicle in one, but she's destroyed it anyway. She's that's the end of that. We have a weird cut.
Yeah.
And it cuts to a sheriff in a car and ends up meeting the girlfriend.
Yeah.
She gets in the car and she takes the sheriff to where her boyfriend died. Okay. Now, as the sheriff gets out the car to go and look at everything, and he sees the boyfriend, and again we have like that moment of slow motion acting, like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, and you can see he's calling on the radio for help.
Oh, he's saying, I need help.
But at the same time, we keep cutting back to the girlfriend realizing, wait a second, I've only killed one, but there are two testicles.
Yeah,
and this is what gets me.
She starts like banging on the window and screaming.
Yeah, but this is what gets me. There's only one scrotum. There's only one scrotum. The movie's called The Scrotum.
Yeah.
Not killer testicles.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're only half an hour into the film at this point. So this is the point where we're thinking, God, what else is going? Where's the film going to go?
When she does it with the fire extinguisher, that was about halfway through because we were like, she can't have got rid of it because what the hell's going to happen for the other half an hour?
Yeah.
But so we get to this point where the police officer's now looking at the crime scene. Not crime, is it crime scene? He kind of killed himself.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's looking around there, and then he gets the tube, one of the tubes,
wrapped around his neck.
Well, it's not wrapped around his neck.
It's not wrapped around. It's laying on his chest.
Holding it, giving it a cuddle. It's not even trying. It doesn't even look like he's struggling.
Maybe he thinks, I'm being attacked by a bear, I'm going to play dead.
Yeah, so he gets killed by the other testy.
Yeah.
And tube.
Yeah. So there's a second testicle, obviously. But that's the mad thing. It's why is it testicles doing the killing when it's a movie called The Scrotum?
Yeah. Why isn't it called Killer Testicles?
Yeah.
Or The Testicles?
But that's the thing. Is this a twist? Is this supposed to be a twist now that there were two of them doing the killings all along? That's why it seemed to be in so many different places killing lots of people, because it was actually two different testicles doing the killing.
And I've got to say, on other movies we've watched, like when we did the Killer Animal series, I really enjoyed the different ways they attempted to kill things.
Yeah.
So like Piranha, you had the propeller blade in the water and he was making like piranha smoothie, and you had like snakes on a plane, you had loads in snakes on a plane.
Oh, Lord,
like everything on a stick. Just try put something on a stick, kill it with that. And we had the microwave scene in Snakes on a Plane, didn't we? And we were just crying out for something like that in this. So that would have been perfect in this movie. Put those testicles in the microwave, press the testicle setting or the scrotum setting, and just blow it up. Mm-hmm. That would have been amazing. But there was a real lack of. She worked out that if she froze it, it worked.
Yes.
And that's how she went about it again later on, wasn't it?
Well, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. That was the plan, and that was the idea. Yeah.
So we had the chainsaw. Yeah. That didn't work.
That didn't work. The fire extinguisher and then a stamp worked.
Yeah.
Okay. But then the sheriff dies and she goes on the run again.
Yeah. From the other testicle.
From the second testicle.
Yeah.
And that's where she bumps into one of the guys in the hazmat suit.
Yes.
And he's in the same van that dumped the toxic waste.
Yeah.
And he's driving off with her. And she says what's happened. And he then goes into a really badly overdubbed story of what has happened.
Yes.
So we get a flashback to the dumping of the toxic waste.
Yeah.
We get his partner that was doing the dumping with him being killed by one of the testicles and him escaping.
Yeah.
And he basically tells our heroine that the toxic waste was actually a government weapon. I can see your eyes glassing over already at the story.
I'm just thinking that the storyline is straight out of The Simpsons, isn't it? Is it The Simpsons movie where they get the toxic waste in the lake?
Oh, and there's so much toxic waste that they put the dome over the town.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's literally straight out of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like dump a big, and it's literally like in cartoons when you have the big barrel. It's got toxic waste written over it and a big label. Yeah. It was like that, and it's like,
I know.
Okay, you've based your movie on a cartoon.
But do you know what it turns out to be? It's not toxic waste at all. It's actually a chemical weapon.
Oh, okay.
So the US government have developed a chemical weapon that they would be able to spray over enemy troops.
Yeah.
I think I might have dozed off a little bit. But the idea is it causes the troops to fight amongst themselves and be hostile, etc., etc. But then they couldn't get it to work properly or something, so they just decided to get rid of it. And what would you do if you had a chemical weapon, right, that caused anybody that came into contact with it to become aggressive? Would you dump it into the local water supply?
No.
Or would you maybe just incinerate it and destroy it that way?
Yeah, I mean, get rid of that.
You'd get rid of it some other way, but it wouldn't affect the people of your own country, let alone their own testicles. Do you know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, they didn't know it was going to take over testicles.
I'll tell you what, Emma, the government really balls that one up.
I was trying to make a joke about them testing something out and testes, but I couldn't get it.
Well, actually, I'm going to tell our wonderful listeners how juvenile we are because we always do a little mic check before we record, and this evening the mic check was testes 1 2 3. Yeah,
David's idea.
Well, I didn't make you join in.
You did.
I'm sorry, what? we get this absolute exposition dump, and she tells him, "Oh, I took one of them out." And he was like, "Oh, how did you manage this?" And she said, "Well, it shrunk when I sprayed it with the powder from that." And he's like, "Oh, the chemical compound must have interacted with it and caused it to and blah 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 blah." And just did not understand a single word of it. And it was either because it was actually chemically makes sense, or two was absolute nonsense. And because I'm not a scientist, I don't know. I mean, I do know how to obviously sew and reattach limbs and heads. If you're a building nail and you need anything
You're
reattached.
You're a doctor, not a scientist.
I'm a doctor, not a scientist. Good God, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a scientist.
Although we could have done with that doctor from Body Parts for this to sew the scrotum back on, but then his whole body would have turned evil, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Or she could have attached the scrotum to somebody else and made them a killer.
She could have attached the scrotum to the psycho and made him like a super psycho with a killer scrotum and a killer fist.
Every body part would be going.
Every body part's a killer part.
Yeah. You could kill several people at once.
You could, yeah. Imagine that, just kicking 2 people to death, strangling 2 people, and your scrotum just...
They could have just kept the scrotum in a tank.
Smothering someone.
Crank.
Tank and crank.
Tank, like on crank.
Yeah.
And it could have just been a scrotum genius that controlled everybody.
Oh my God.
It could have been like the master.
This is right in itself.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, and the testicles become like brains, 2 little brains.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing a boom, 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 boom movement with my hands, but... Yeah. Oh.
The possibilities are endless.
Genius.
Yeah. But they didn't go with any of those ideas.
I think you should write it. I think you should go with this storyline and write it. Yeah. Actually, download ChatGPT app and hey, write a movie with a hero and a heroine against a killer scrotum in a tank that controls evil body parts.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a great prompt.
Yeah.
I might try it out in a moment
Yeah.
and see if it gives us scene by scene. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway.
So she's with the guy that dumped the toxic waste. He's given a big long spiel about what's happened.
And he said, oh, so it could be any extremes in temperature, cold and heat that will affect this. So they decide to go back to his lab.
Yeah.
But on the way, they get attacked by the scrotum. He gets dragged out the van and choked to death.
Yeah.
And our heroine runs away into the woods. In her running, she finds Emily, the little girl.
Oh, yes, she does, yeah.
And the little girl's like, oh, I need help finding my mummy. My dog's gone. My dad's dead. I think the guy with the axe was her dad. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I need help finding my mummy, blah, 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 blah. And our hero of the story is like, I'll get you back to your mum, don't you worry.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, the little girl is just whipped away by the scrotum and killed.
Yeah.
You don't see it, it's just whipped away. And again, I don't even know the main character's name. I don't remember it being said at all. So
I don't think it is.
She's like sort of sprayed by blood. So we're assuming that's it, the little girl was dead.
Yeah.
And she runs away again. She gets into she's gone. She goes into a diner.
Yeah. It's some sort of diner and there's someone mopping the floor.
Yes.
Like clear, it's closed.
Yep.
I don't know how she gets in there. Someone's got they've got headphones on, haven't they? And they're mopping the floor, so they're not taking any notice of her. Mm-hmm. She gets into this diner and then that's when we get the montage of her putting her hair up and setting up a trap.
She's setting the place up to trap the scrotum, that's right. Yeah. The guy with the headphones on dies.
Yeah.
And then the scrotum she starts making loads of noise in there.
She sets up like a little situation where she's kind of caged herself in.
Yes.
And she's got a plan. So she's got, she sort of makes a sort of flamethrower kind of setup thing.
Yeah, she picks up I don't know who she gets the lighter. She gets the lighter from the scientist guy.
Oh, okay.
She gets what if you were the lead scientist creating a chemical weapon, do you think you'd also be the guy dumping the evidence into a lake?
No.
I don't think you would be.
No.
Anyway, so she gets this lighter off of him. Yes, that's right. And as the scrotum comes to attack her, she does the old, spray can.
She bangs on like a big tin, and that's when we realise that, this scrotum can hear as well.
Yeah.
So it comes running towards her, and then she uses like a flamethrower kind of device
to chase it into the freezer.
Into the freezer, and then she shuts the door.
Yeah.
And she's having real trouble trying to keep it in because it's banging against it. It's like rolling up and banging against the door.
Yeah.
We just see scrotum vision again, don't we?
Which,
it just comes rolling towards the door.
The thing is, Emma, right? As the owner of a testicle,
Just one.
I mean, as the owner of 2 testicles, right? The idea of
bashing them
my
against
testicles smashing into a metal door to open it up
it's making you want to cry
is enough to make me want to cry. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got testicles, obviously, but I would imagine that wouldn't be very pleasant.
No, absolutely.
But, so then, we get the tube comes out the side of the door and stuff.
Yeah.
She's really having trouble getting it in, and then she does manage to get the door closed. Mm-hmm. But then I did point out to you, because I have worked in catering before many, many moons ago. Mm-hmm. When you have those big walk-in freezers, you always have a release button on the inside to get out in case you do get trapped.
But when was the last time you saw a testicle take basic health and safety of kitchen freezers?
But I looked because we do see the inside of this freezer because it's trying to get out, and there's nothing. It's always like where you'd expect a handle to be. It's like you push it really hard and it releases.
And it just releases
and
it.
And it should glow in the dark as well, so you can see it because it's obviously dark in there when the door's closed. So there should be like a release button to get out, because obviously people walk in, the door closes behind them, then they're trapped and they freeze to death. Yeah. So there is always a safety thing. I mean, this is America, and I'm talking about the UK, but I imagine it's the same in America.
Yeah, I imagine.
Have a safety
but
feature.
would like an older, like rundown diner? I don't know if this place was particularly run down, but would they have an up-to-date fridge, sort of thing?
I would imagine it's been a safety thing for a while. What
Yeah,
did I
but
do?
like American fridges have bloody locks on the front. Like, I don't know if they do anymore, but they used to have bloody
Well, like
locks
the
on
big
them.
walk-in
So
ones.
yeah, so when not like the big walk-in ones, just your normal fridges in the house, they'd have a
You're not
bloody
going to
lock
get
on the
trapped in
front.
there, are you?
No, but people when like kids got in there,
Oh, okay.
they like hide and seek or whatever. And again, this might be a myth. If you're from
Yeah.
America and you remember the old fridges with the locks on the front, right? If kids would get in there, they're not getting out because it's locked
Yeah.
from the outside.
Yeah.
It's got like a latch on the outside. That's it.
I guess it's the parents' responsibility to know where the kids are, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean that helps.
Yeah.
It does.
But yeah. Anyway, so this obviously hasn't.
But then
got
you know
one of those.
why do we still as parents put child locks on things? Because if we know where our kids are,
Yeah. But
you know they
that's
won't be
more-
drinking bleach from the
Yeah,
kitchen.
that's more things like
Aye, things they can get
bleach
to.
and things that when
But
toddlers.
you would
can get to
imagine,
drink.
you would
So I don't
imagine
know.
that you'd hear a kid going,
Yeah.
bit dark in this fridge, wouldn't
A
you?
bit cold in there, yeah.
But then maybe you don't because they're well insulated.
Anyway, that was just a
Anyway,
that was
yeah,
just
yeah.
a little minor point, really. Because,
It was.
Yeah, the scrotum would still. But I was just imagining that if you were pushing against that door, there'd be some sort of release catch that would open
Yeah.
it. Because, but anyway, it doesn't.
It doesn't,
It shrinks down.
and it kind of shrinks and
Yeah, it shrinks it down, doesn't it? When it gets
implodes
too
a little
cold.
bit, doesn't it? It just kind
Yeah.
of, and that's the end of it,
Yeah.
and that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, look, I know we've got categories to talk about, okay, but I literally don't have much for the categories on this film.
I've got a couple of things.
I've got some for the bad special effects. I don't have anything for accent.
No, accents were just. It was very like Southern American
Yeah.
kind of vibe. But there wasn't anything particularly good or particularly bad. It was what you
Yeah.
expect.
It didn't make me think, oh, they've got someone that isn't from that area.
No.
I think it was like, was it what? It's kind of the Ozarks sort of area.
Yeah.
Have you
I'm
ever
not
watched
sure,
that TV
actually.
show, The Ozarks?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I think it's in that kind of
Yeah.
area. So you've got that kind of accent going on.
Yeah. So no, nothing really for accent and nothing really for location. Most of it was in the woods. We did have the diner.
Yeah.
We had the diner, the woods, and that's about it. Then in the car at one point, but we didn't have loads of locations.
No, and there was nothing that stuck out like a sore thumb.
No.
You know, we didn't end up in some sort of, in the backwoods, but then we end up in some sort of high-tech laboratory where this chemical thing was created and it looked like a villain's lair. We didn't end up with anything out of place in the film. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have got some bad deaths.
But there were no stunts, were there? There were some people that were sort of hung up by the testicles.
No,
No,
I don't know
they
whether
weren't hung up by the testicles. They were hung up by the testicle, I should say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If it's classed as a stunt or a special effect or what.
Oh, go on.
But for a bad one, I thought him cutting his scrotum off. Well, cutting it in the lake and cutting it off actually.
Yeah.
So when he cuts it in the lake, so we obviously see a fake scrotum,
We hope.
but the way they've done it, it's like it was miles away from his body.
Yeah.
He was holding it out here, and I'm like, nobody's scrotum's that long. Even if you're 85, surely it's not that long.
That is the cost of getting
I know
older.
they do droop.
Yeah.
But, it was like he was holding it so far away from his body because it obviously wasn't attached to his body.
Yeah.
And it was a weird shape, like it was too long and thin, I thought, to be a scrotum. And then they actually put hair on it, but it was too long to be pubic hair, too long and straight to be pubic hair.
Well, maybe this guy does just grow unnaturally long pubic hair, and that's why she's always on it him
It
to
was really
cut it
straight as well,
cut it
wasn't
off.
it?
Yeah, it was. It
So
was really straight.
It looked disgusting and it didn't look realistic at all. It's like they
Yeah.
almost just didn't even bother trying to make it look like a scrotum. It was just like a lump of, I don't even know what. Like it almost looked like a lump of plasticine with some hair stuck to it.
Yeah.
They hadn't made it look like, like if you
Okay.
ever seen In-Betweeners when they did the fashion show.
Oh,
And
yeah.
his bollock poking out of his
Oh,
hands.
yeah.
At least they tried to make that look like bollocks, didn't they?
Yeah.
But this was just like, I don't know, this was just a mess. So it just looked ridiculous. It was way too gory because it was like just blood everywhere. Every scene where there was
Yeah.
anything going on, there was just, she was covered at one point, head to toe in
Oh,
fake
yeah, I
blood.
know.
There's just blood dripping off of everything all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just thought the the actual scrotum itself that they used just looked so wrong, and there was just no need. And when he did actually cut it off, it was just like again loads of blood.
Yeah.
The thing looked weird. Like I just think the whole scene was just too much.
We saw
a lot of it, didn't we?
Yeah, and we saw these two testicles on the floor that looked more like scrunched up pink paper.
Yeah.
And they had this.
And then the tubes were massive.
Yeah, they had these really. They looked like straws, like paper straws that had just been kind of wetted a little bit. Yeah.
They were way too big.
Way too big.
Like, if that was all in a scrotum, the tubes are going to be tiny, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and men would be walking around with like much larger sort of baggy areas in their jeans.
Yeah.
Than if that's what it was inside the scrotum generally.
So I don't know whether that was like special effects or stunts, or I don't know if that's can you call that a stunt. If
I wouldn't say stunt. I think I would put that squarely in special effects. Okay. Squarely in special effects.
Well, then in
absolutely.
terms of stunts, no, I don't think.
No.
We had any stunts, did we?
No, I mean there was one bit where the scientist guy is kind of dangling from the van, but that's not really a stunt. You're not seeing it happen. You're seeing it has happened. So yeah, completely devoid of any stunts, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Because like you can still do something stunt based on a low budget.
Yeah.
You still can. I mean, I used to go around my mate's house in the summers when I was at secondary school, right? And he had his mum and dad had a camcorder, okay? And me and loads of our friends, we would film terrible things, like bad movie ideas and things like that. And I remember once, right, we did this kind of like thing where my pal at the time, Andy, was possessed by some sort of alien thing. Yeah. Absolute rubbish. But we had this bit where we wanted him to run out the back window, and it came onto like this is like early Spielberg, this film, okay? Yeah. So the back door came out onto like a patio area, and then it dropped down into the garden. The patio area was quite large-ish, but it didn't have like a barrier or anything, so you could run straight out and you could just jump out. Yeah. So we filmed this, right, because we didn't have editing, we were filming it on video. We filmed him running towards the door, okay, stopped recording, he stopped, and then we went to the side and we filmed him running out and jumping, and we stopped just as he leaped, stopped recording, and then we got under where he was jumping over and we hit record just as he leaped over us again. Yeah. So he's done this jump twice now. Yeah. And then we recorded him landing. We did the landing. And when we watched it all back, we hadn't edited it in, but it was a bit like run toward the camera. And then run towards the camera, cuts, sees him running out the door, cuts, sees him jumping, cuts, sees him jumping over us, cuts, sees him landing. And that's a stunt.
Some lovely transitions in
that's a stunt. And we literally did that in like 5 minutes with no money.
Yeah.
Just my pal's mum and dad's camcorder. Yeah. And we're seeing so many bad movies where they're just not putting any kind of stunt in. Is it an insurance thing?
But they're also not showing... Like we've watched a couple of movies now where you don't really see the deaths.
Yeah.
So this is a killer... It's a slasher movie, but you don't see... The deaths. You don't see the deaths. So we only saw... we didn't... I don't know if we saw a death or not, really, because the guy got his face covered by the scrotum, and that's one of the first times you saw it.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually see death from, right, this is how he dies, to completion. It was like a shot of...
Yep.
Like, if I'm watching a horror movie and someone dies...
That Scrotum was finishing them off.
I want to see, like, okay, this is... They're chasing them, they catch them, this is how they kill them, dead. Yeah. But we just saw like a shot of, that the scrotum's over his face, suffocating him. Yeah. And that's it. Yep. Goes on to something else. Or you see the aftermath of the death.
Yeah, but you still don't even... You see him suffocating them, but you still don't actually see...
them die.
You don't see them die.
No, that's what I mean, it just cuts away.
Just cuts away.
Then other deaths, it's like, okay, they're dead, we've seen them afterwards and know they're dead, but we haven't seen the actual killing.
Yes.
So, I think some of these movies miss the whole point. The whole point of the movie is, like, you've got this thing on the loose killing people. Let's see it kill somebody.
Yeah,
Not
give
just,
us.
Yeah,
It's a classic. It's so much of I think the issue with this film where it misses the point of what it's doing.
Yeah.
And I think by taking itself seriously almost, and I think taking itself seriously to make it seem like it's funny unintentionally, but it still isn't funny.
Yeah.
I really do think that's what they were trying to get at. But yeah, it's just yet another example of this film just missing the mark with what it's trying to do. I do have some bad special effects.
Okay.
One of them was a sound effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Our guy that's on the toilet dying. I don't understand why they have to do this, but we get he's on the toilet. He's sitting on the toilet. Why do we have to have sound effects of pooing and farting and
grim,
all that happening? Why do we have to have those sound effects?
Yeah.
We can see he's on the toilet. We know what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like these things are happening, but the actor isn't even acting to react to that. The sound effects are just over.
There. Yeah. And like you say, we don't need them because
Sickening.
you see a man sat on a toilet. Men use urinals if they're having a wee. We know what he's doing. We don't need the sound effects. And it's not
Unless you're in
relevant.
Germany. I've seen a lot of TikToks about German men always sitting down to wee.
Okay.
So if you're in Germany and you're listening, let us know if that is an actual thing.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm all here for a
Is that
sit-down
an
wee.
older man thing?
I don't think it's an older man thing. I think it's just like,
Is it comfortable?
you're just sitting down weeing. Is it uncomfortable when you sit down on the toilet?
No, but I haven't got a thing there that can move and get wee everywhere.
It doesn't move on its own. It's just,
No, but like...
just kind of hangs there, generally.
When you're in midstream...
Yeah. It's not like a fire hose.
No, I know, but you can't get it in the toilet. There's like...
No, I'm sorry.
Can't aim in the
Yeah,
toilet.
a lot of men can. A lot of men can. I pride myself on being able to aim into the toilet directly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I find it so disturbing that there are men out there and partners of men out there who complain about men missing the toilet.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make
But
sense.
also, if you
How can you miss the
it's quite a big
toilet?
hole. But
It's
also, if you do miss
big.
it, just wipe down
Just
the seat.
clean it up.
Yeah, like
You know?
it's your piss.
You know,
you clean
it is absolutely. If you do miss, clean it
Yeah.
up. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of cleaning spray up there in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Give it a wipe down. Give it a spray.
I mean, you wouldn't go
give
to,
it a clean.
You wouldn't go to someone's
Done.
house and go and feel unwell and be sick in their bathroom. They'd be like, "Oh, I've just been sick in your bathroom."
No.
They'd leave and leave all the sick there.
You wouldn't kill a
You
policeman.
wouldn't sneeze all over their wall and then be like, "Oh, it just must not."
Oh, there you go.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you don't do stuff like that. So why do people think it's okay to just leave their piss everywhere?
In your own home. You animals.
Well, if it's even worse if you're in someone else's
You
home.
ain't got someone else's and do it.
Go to someone
Oh.
else's home. I go in the bathroom after you and there's piss all over the seat. It's like, you're a grown man. Like, just give it a little wipe. There's toilet roll there.
Emma is talking hypothetically. When she's
Not
saying,
about
you go into my
David.
bathroom, she's not mentioning me.
David's not allowed in my bathroom anymore. But no, anyway, we're getting carried away again with different.
We're getting ranty there. I find
Yeah.
it so odd that happens.
Yeah.
But I'm all here for a sit down wee.
Okay.
I'm all here for it. I mean, yeah, takes a little longer,
Yeah.
but you know, quick TikTok. Oh, I'm all done. Away I go.
Okay.
Hands free, baby.
Yeah.
Hands free. And if you are a man that struggles with hitting the side of a barn,
Yeah.
right, just sit down. No one's going to stop. No one's going to think you're less of a man for sitting down to have a wee.
Well, no one's going to know, are they?
No one's going to know. But unless you have a podcast and you tell your many listeners
That would be silly.
you've enjoyed a little sit down wee now and again.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
I urge every man out there, if you've not done it, I bet you every man out there has occasionally just gone, you know what, I think I'm going to sit down for this one. And we've all really enjoyed it. Just you keep it up. Just you keep it up. Anyway, that's my public service announcement. So that's a terrible sound effect. I put sound effects and special effects all under one because they're SFX. Okay, just don't put pooing sounds in your film.
No.
I don't need to hear it unless it's like a gross out comedy.
Yeah.
And if you are going to put them in at the points when it looks like the actors.
They had that in
acting
House
it.
Shark, did they? When the girl goes
yeah.
to the toilet as well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, there's no need for it.
Yeah. Although I would say, if you are going to the toilet like that girl in House Shark, there's no need to get completely naked to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not wearing like a onesie.
Yeah.
If you're not wearing a onesie, like she wasn't, she was just wearing a top and a skirt.
Yeah.
There's no need to get completely naked just to go for a poo. None at all.
Yeah, that was in my worst deaths because it was just disgusting. The sound effects and stuff were disgusting. He was on the toilet for far too long. We had to sit through that for quite a while of him.
Far too long.
Sitting there and the
Far
noises
too
and stuff.
long. Sorry, just realised what I did.
And we didn't see his death.
Yeah, he just gets dragged, which is
we saw scrotum vision and then we saw blood.
Yeah, dragged out of the bathroom.
That's it. So, yeah, terrible.
Yeah,
terrible scene, terrible death, terrible special effects.
Just terrible all over. And then obviously the next special effect I think we both have to talk about, partly editing of the film, is the scene transitions.
The scene transitions, the only thing I can liken it to is when you do a PowerPoint presentation and you've got like the slide in from the side, or you've got the they didn't even use fade. They had
so it wasn't it wasn't even that sort of slide transition.
It slid from like left to right or up and down.
Yeah.
But how slow was it?
Really slow.
It took forever.
And the scene previous froze.
Yeah.
And then
because at one point we were like, "What's going on? Is it frozen
I actually thought had it frozen. Yeah.
Like, has my internet gone?
Yeah.
Because it was just like, but it just took forever.
And we had enough time to consider that.
Yes, it was long enough for us to go, oh, like, I think the TV's frozen or the internet's gone.
Oh, no, the next scene's just sliding in.
Really slowly. And then later on in the movie, the transitions weren't sort of sliding from scene to scene. We just had a black screen forever as well.
Yes.
So it just went completely black.
Yep.
And you were like, what's going on?
And you had sound over the blackness.
So you could still hear it, and then it was like, why is it just a black screen for so long? And that happened a few times, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, just awful. Just like, and it is just, that's all I thought about was PowerPoint. When I had to do PowerPoint presentations before.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what transition shall you slide in or fade, or like it goes like into little blocks? Or I'm
not going to lie, I like the star transition. You know, when it transitions out from a star.
But
beautiful.
My point
it
is,
looks like you're going into the PowerPoint.
Yeah, but you can get more impressive transitions in PowerPoint than these guys used on their movie.
You can.
Like, what are you doing?
Do you know what it says to me? It feels to me like they had a free version of a video editor, and that was the only transitions that were available. Yeah.
And I feel like the guy doing it was like, oh no, I'll do like some cool transitions between takes. Yeah. No. It was awful.
Yeah, I've got this great video editor for us to do it. Some of these transitions are going to cost money. Oh, we don't have any budget. Oh, okay. Well, we've got this slide-in effect.
Yeah, it was awful.
And it wasn't even like a screen fade, sort of a swipe across, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was literally the slowest.
Yeah.
It was like one scene pushed the other scene out.
Yeah.
But it was so painfully slow.
Oh, really dreadful. Really dreadful. Look, have you got some deaths? Any other deaths you want to talk about?
Yeah, bad deaths. Okay. So I've got...
Talk about your bad deaths, because I'm probably the same ones that I would be able to...
the man on the toilet, because you just didn't see his death and it was just gross. And then also the pervert in the woods.
Aye.
Again, you didn't see him actually get killed. You just saw him laying there, and it was like, I can't... It's really hard to describe. It was almost like he was burnt but melted at the same time. It's almost like you've melted somebody using heat, and he looked like his skin was all kind of bubbling, and it was just... But again, we said this earlier, but there was no consistencies. So some people got strangled, some people got suffocated, some people got burnt. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this scrotum did it. There was no kind of... It wasn't going about it one way, and some of the deaths, you're like, how did it do that? You also had the woman that was disemboweled.
And then I thought to myself, oh, were the two different testicles/scrotum things killing people different ways?
Yeah,
but
no,
it still didn't work out like that.
It was the same one.
Yeah, it still didn't work out.
And the cop at the end, he literally... You saw him laying on the ground, and the tube was laying not even over his neck, it was like collarbone kind of level. And he had his hands on it, but it was just like he was just holding it there. It wasn't like he was struggling. He didn't make it look like it was a struggle at all. It was just like, oh, I'm just laying here cuddling my little...
I was saying, I tried to explain to you when we were watching the film that it reminded me of a scene in a film by Ed Wood. So Plan 9 from Outer Space was the name of the film. It was like one of those 50s terrible sci-fi things where aliens come down to take over the world by reanimating the dead. That was plan number 9, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what plan 1 to 8 was like, but that was number 9. And there's a moment in it where Bela Lugosi, a very famous old actor who played like, was it Bela Lugosi? Yeah. Who was like Frankenstein's monster and all that sort of thing in the really sort of famous Frankensteins. He plays like a vampire in it. And it was actually his last movie when he died. Anyway, there's a bit in it where he's being attacked by a giant squid. And it's just like a big rubber giant squid. And he's, in the footage of the film, he's holding the arms of the squid because they can't animate it.
Yeah.
And he's attacking himself with the arms. That's exactly what was going on here. And I was thinking, was it a bit of
he wasn't even trying
homage
to make
to it?
I don't know, but he wasn't even trying to make it look like he was attacking himself even. It was so
It was
lackluster.
just on him. And,
it was just on him, and he kind of had his hands around it, but it was like, there was no fight at all. Like, if something's trying to strangle you, A, it's around your neck, but B, you're trying desperately to get it off you, and he was just kind of like, oh, this thing's just on my chest.
Yeah, it's what is it? Someone's got something around your neck, it's 2 fingers, seatbelt off, in, looked around, seat back.
Have you seen the guy who does the video where he's like, his seat takes forever to go
That guy lives in Canterbury.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. If you look at a lot of his videos, Ian Nick Kraskell, something like that. I can't remember his name. But so if you look at a lot of his videos in the background, it's Canterbury. Oh. Yeah. There you go.
It was just
I know, very funny.
Just awful.
In the arms of the angels. Oh, that does make me chuckle, that one. Right.
And then I don't know if this is special effects or not.
Oh, okay.
The woman in the chair.
Oh.
Like disemboweled.
With the disemboweled.
What would you class that as? It's not really special effects. It's just, is it special effects?
I think I would put it as special effects because it is.
Well, that was awful.
Did you think it was awful?
Yes.
I thought it was the best one out of the film.
Did you?
I thought it was the best. I mean, it's still scraping the bottom of the barrel to say it's the best out of the film, but it's the best. And the better one out of the film.
I know your intestines are like windy and long, but this was like they were way too big and way too long to fit in her body. Like it was literally like twice the size.
But they are massive, and like when they come out, they do kind of like.
Because they like wrap round, don't they? But that just seemed like a ridiculous.
And I find it amazing, like when they do certain surgeries, they basically take your intestines out and then they put them back in, and then just.
Although it doesn't ever go well.
I can imagine. I don't think you could ever get it back the way that your body puts it for you.
It's not like it doesn't like to be touched. So like the bowel and the intestines, they can get kind of sticky afterwards.
Oh,
so
really?
so you can have a lot of complications after bowel surgery.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is always a risky thing to do. I mean, obviously they do have to do to save lives, but it can cause a lot of complications because it can kind of stick to itself or it can stick to other things around it, and then you get adhesions and you get blockages and stuff.
Yeah.
So it can make you really unwell.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and then they have to go and do further surgeries and stuff. So it can be a right nightmare.
Because
there's just so much of it, and it doesn't like to be touched really. So if you go in and fiddle about with it, you can cause extra problems basically. It is a big tangled mess in there. But this was just way. This wouldn't have fit in her body. Like she's only a small woman. Do
you know what it made me think of? When you put a party popper and you get those those streamers come out. It was like that, but the party popper was intestines.
Well, just almost like a big pile of spaghetti, like a big messy pile of spaghetti.
I could just imagine.
Like tagliatelle, the thick.
Yeah,
like that. It was just not.
Or if someone hadn't cut penny pasta and it was just long tubes of penny pasta just all over with the It
was like if you said to a kid, right, for a Halloween thing, we're having a Halloween party, can you make a model of a person and just pretend they've been disemboweled, and it's what a kid would do. It would just looked ridiculous. So I didn't like the disemboweled woman.
No. Now, I actually don't have anything else about this film. It was really short, thankfully.
Yep.
There wasn't
a good thing.
There wasn't really many things from our categories. for it to come out. There really wasn't any of our wild cards that would have been good for it either.
Music, maybe, because
the music.
We touched it earlier.
There was a lot of, there was a lot of music
that didn't fit the scene. Like the opera music didn't fit the scenes that it was covering, because it was it has to be really powerful music, I think, to go over a scene like that, and it just wasn't that. It was kind of like...
Yeah, they couldn't afford Ave Maria.
Yeah, it was just a bit lacklustre.
Yeah.
And it just didn't look right over the scenes, because you had, like, they were clearly screaming or shouting, and there was a lot of stuff going on that you didn't hear. Mm-hmm. And then you've got this kind of almost like, not relaxing, but like it wasn't dramatic enough. That's the thing, I think. It needs to be quite dramatic music, and it wasn't dramatic. It was just
it wasn't.
Classical music that you might listen to in the car, putting away to work. You know, it was just like,
when you can't get any other station except Radio 3.
Yeah, it's just like, this isn't working over this scene.
No, it really didn't, did it?
No.
Right, so shall we score this film?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to go first scoring it?
No, you go first, because I don't know what I'm going to give it.
I'm going to give it 1 star. It's going to get 1 star from me. It's getting 1 star because it was only 1 hour long.
Yeah.
It wasn't...
That was a bonus.
It zipped by really quickly.
Yeah, at least we didn't have to suffer through it for 2 hours.
And if I was being perfectly honest with you, they could have ended it after half an hour.
Yeah.
And it'd just be the one scrotum that she killed off, and that was it. They didn't need the second half. So it could have been shorter, but I'm going to give it just 1 star for it being only an hour. And, they just missed the mark on so much of it.
Yeah.
You can't, I'm sorry, but I know I've said this before, but you can't have a film called The Scrotum and not try and have some fun with it.
Yeah.
That is my final say on it.
There wasn't, whether they were trying, like you said, to do deadpan or some sort of humour, that wasn't coming across. I don't feel like there was any comedy in there.
No, not at all. I don't think there was.
No, I think I'm going to go 1 as well.
Yeah.
I think 1 because, like you say, it was short, which when they're a bit rubbish like this, it's always good that they're short.
Yeah.
I think the idea of it is so ridiculous. I don't know if it's good or bad. Like, it's such a ridiculous premise for a film. I'm like, is it so ridiculous it's good? The idea of it.
There are better
you could have done
toxic
something...
waste movies, or movies that have used toxic waste to create something.
Yeah.
There are better versions of them than this.
Yeah, but you could have, had you have put some humour in there, we could have been sat here telling a very different story, saying, "Oh my goodness, it was so ridiculous, it was so funny that we actually enjoyed it."
If they'd have given the Scrotum character like the Critters or something,
we did say that as well, didn't we? We've watched Inanimate Objects, and they actually have a character. We didn't really see the Scrotum. We saw it once. We saw it once when it was like freeze dried. Yeah. And we saw it once when it was big
in the freezer.
It was just like a blanket of skin.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen it bouncing around on the ground rather than the Scrotum. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the Scrotum vision because we like a bit of
we love a bit of animal vision, Scrotum vision, whatever we kind of like. Yeah.
So that's great, but you can have a bit of that. But then I also wanted to see it moving around and see how it did move. Did it move with the tubes? Like, was it running around like some sort of alien creature? Or how did it get around? Or it would have been better if it had stayed intact and it was just sort of like boing boing.
Yeah, just two nuts just really walking. However it wants to do it.
They could have brought some humour into it as well. So we didn't get a personality from it. It could obviously hear and see. Yeah. But it didn't have a personality. And we've watched a movie about a tyre that had a personality. Yeah.
And it did make a noise. It didn't make the noise I thought, like...
Yeah.
It made a kind of like a...
Yeah, it did make a bit of a noise, didn't it?
Yeah. As it was killing, but otherwise you didn't really hear much other noise from it, did you?
Yeah.
It's overall a disappointing film. But... good that it was only an hour.
Yeah.
And then, we could just sit and chat. And shit.
I don't think I'd tell people to watch it. And
I know.
I don't think I'd tell people that I watched it unless they'd listen to this podcast. If they haven't listened to this podcast, I'm not bringing it up in conversation.
Yeah, it's very true. Although you say that, but I recently did a show, listeners, and I was in a play with some people, and I was talking about doing this podcast, and I said that we're on a season of Bad Body Parts, and
Yeah.
and a few people said, "Oh, you've got to watch the Scrotum,"
Oh, okay.
because it was hilarious. But I think because we are used to actually hilarious bad movies.
Yes, I think the idea of a killer scrotum could be hilarious if
Yes.
it's done well, couldn't it?
Yeah. And it's more hilarious because it's so stupid and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You're not laughing with the film, you're laughing at it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's it. That's the Scrotum, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you want to hear now on this flip on
You're making that noise because you're like, what are we going to say?
we're
that's good
gonna have
about
to
it?
now we're gonna have to focus on
scored it at 1.
the good bits
Yeah.
of the Scrotum now and we're gonna have to
Might be our
really
shortest
dig deep.
episode yet, I
I
think.
know. But if you do want to hear the opposite of what we've been talking about and us trying to find the good bits out of the movies that we watch, or sometimes the bad bits out of the good movies that we watch, well, I know it doesn't work like that because we flip a coin, but
Yeah.
if you want to hear the opposite of what we've talked about in the main episode, come and join us on the Patreon. It's an ever-growing community now,
is,
with
certainly
with
is.
a new member today, Jay Kyle. You rock. But yes, come and join us over there at www.patreon.com/IC the actual words, not letters IC. Although I is a letter, but it's still a word. I'm confusing myself. Anyway, IC Bad Movies, ISEE Bad Movies. Okay, and you'll find us. You'll find us for the price of $5 a month.
Yeah, bargain.
Absolute bargain for mine and your voices. Absolute bargain.
It's
Absolute bargain.
Treat for your ears.
Isn't it? Isn't it just a little treat for those ears? And do you know what? You deserve a treat.
Treat yourself, yeah.
Yeah, treat yourself. Anyway, we're going to head off and we're going to go and record the good side on the flip side, aren't we?
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.